Welcome to Grand Park here in Westfield. A picture-perfect day. Beautiful out here for Colts Training Camp, day number 9. Hard to believe it, but we're 2 weeks through camp ahead of the 2025 season for your Indianapolis Colts. Thought it was a very solid day. Nothing spectacular to write home about. You know, it wasn't anything jumping off the page per se, but it certainly wasn't sloppy either. It feels like the Colts needed a nice bounce-back day, primarily from the quarterbacks, Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson, after a rough day on Saturday, certainly steadying the ship here on Sunday. It felt like they got better as the practice went on. Starting in a red zone period, Anthony Richardson wasn't his sharpest, had a short touchdown to a running back across the middle. Daniel Jones with a very nice throw, touchdown to Ashton Doolin in that opening red zone 11-on-11 period, and got through kind of special teams portion of the practice, some individual, and really the last 30 minutes was true 11-on-11 for the entirety, for the length of practice, that final half hour here in Grand Park. Throughout the day, the quarterbacks had their moments. They certainly had some misses as well, but again, it was just solid. It was a very solid day. Nothing crazy happening. Anthony Richardson with a very nice over-the-middle throw, deep crosser to Alec Pierce comes to mind. A beautiful throw from Daniel Jones on the sideline to A.D. Mitchell. Back shoulder, great adjustment by Mitchell, hauled it in. As what the team was doing was they were actually simulating drives down the field, live action, to see how far you can get. But a good day certainly for the quarterbacks. There's no question about that. And Riley Leonard having his best day in a Colts uniform, just marched right down the field with the threes in a simulated drive type situation, ending in a touchdown there at the end. So really nice day from him. He just continues to stack days and get better. You want a nice number 3 QB. Riley Leonard certainly answering the bell right there. And lastly, really defensively, it felt like the defensive line was in the backfield more often than they have been earlier in this training camp. Kwity Paye sack comes to mind, a lot of different whistles. It wasn't that the quarterbacks played poorly or the offensive line was poorly. It just felt like they were kind of on it today. Justin Wally and Kenny Moore, some moments of sticky coverage as well in team period. So again, a solid day. The only downside to the day, Salvon Ahmed, running back in his 6th season. You know, you're probably your 4th or 5th string running back. A long touchdown at near the end of practice, taken down from behind by Trey Washington, an undrafted rookie free agent here at training camp. Hip drop tackle, a very severe and significant lower leg injury for Ahmed. Stopped practice for a good 10 minutes. The team rallying around him, circling around him, praying for him, giving him well wishes, but it was a pretty significant injury. He was carted off the field after about 10 minutes. Obviously, Trey Washington feels terrible. He didn't mean for that to happen. In the same token, inexcusable for that to happen, a hip drop tackle on one of your own guys. It was a live tackling period. Shane Steichen told us after practice, and you'll hear that here in just a second, but really just unfortunate situation, and that kind of halted the momentum of what was otherwise a nice bounce-back day, a solid practice here at Grand Park. So enough of me. You'll hear from Shane Steichen, Zaire Franklin, who's back on the field, his 2nd practice of training camp here as he recovers from an ankle injury and is now playing, which we love to see, and Will Mallory, tight end, really having a nice camp here at Grand Park 9 days through. So take a listen. Shane Steichen, Will Mallory, Zaire Franklin.
I'll start just first off, Salvon. Thoughts and prayers with him right now. Obviously got a severe leg injury in practice. Never want to see that happen. I know we don't encourage hip drop tackles. I know Trey's down in the dumps, and I don't think he's trying to do that. We're just trying to, create an edge is what I'm trying to get done, especially in the developmental. Those guys are going to have to tackle, come preseason. So, but thoughts and prayers with Salvon, and hopefully he has a speedy recovery.
So that was a live tackling period for them?
Yeah, the developmental, as you guys have seen the last, couple days, we've been live with those guys, just getting them ready, for tackling in the preseason.
So, just it kind of happened in the end zone. Is that somewhere? Is that an area of the field where maybe you got to use some judgment, or what do you think?
Yeah, he's chasing him down right there, trying to make a play before he scores. Again, I'm sure he obviously didn't mean to do it. Injuries happen in football. It's a very unfortunate situation for Salvon, but like I said, thoughts and prayers with him, and our team will support him.
You wrestle with this stuff a lot, I'm sure, as a coach, right? How physical to be and that kind of thing. Just how do you square it all?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, training camp is where you want to create the edge and the toughness and the identity of your football team. And so, you have live periods, and it's really just an unfortunate situation.
What do you think of the team coming around, Salvon, and obviously AR coming over there to DeForest Buckner and
Yeah.
praying for him.
Yeah, I thought it was tremendous, just the team camaraderie that our guys have, and Cam praying over them with the whole team there. Just shows the the tightness of this group as it comes together. It's a new year with new faces and guys coming together. I think it shows a lot. Just the closeness of this team right now.
Just how difficult or delicate, I guess, is it to then have to drop it back up and go out there and finish practice?
Yeah,
that's just football.
Yeah, there's no questions. Obviously, there's a lot of thoughts going along in my head during that situation. Talked to some of the leaders on the team. Wanted to get that last 2-minute situation in there. Felt that we needed that. They were on board with that, so we went ahead and finished practice.
Shane, Trevor's Ward dealing with an injury?
Tightness, just tightness. He should be good for Baltimore, though, on Tuesday.
Tightness?
Yeah, tightness, yeah. Just down here in the legs, yeah. Yeah.
Same with Pitt. Just
Yeah.
a groin that's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, just growing.
Anthony had a kind of a rough day yesterday. What do you think of the way he rebounded today?
Thought he did some really good things today. I think, when you go down in the red zone, the windows are tighter. There's certain things, obviously, that we're working through in the red zone, not with Anthony, but I'm just saying with everybody, and just going through that process, because that's where it's really tight windows. So I thought he bounced back really well today, made some good plays. It was a good day for those guys.
Anthony Gould's been making a lot of plays out there. I guess what impresses you the most about just what he's done year two compared to coming off, rookie season?
Yeah, I think, understanding the system's a big part of it. And you don't have to think as much. You start playing faster, really focusing on your technique and details of your route running. And I think he's made great strides in this camp.
I'm sure you want your offensive line to win more consistently, but defensive line today, what do you think?
Phenomenal. They were in the backfield a lot today. They had a ton of sacks there. I let it play out a little bit just to get the drill going. But those guys are rushing hard. Latu had some really good rushes. Quiddy had a good rush. Those guys are doing a great job.
Shane, with the preseason, whatever you do game one with quarterbacks, will you then flip that for game two?
Yeah, both are going to play in this game. I haven't had a chance to talk to them about who's starting, but I'll address that with them tonight. I want them to hear it from me first before they hear it, through the media. But yeah, we'll work through that.
When you say play, are you talking extensive or just to get a look?
Yeah, they'll play a good amount. One will play a good amount this game, and the next one will probably play a good amount the next game.
So what did you think of the day Riley Leonard had out there in the team period?
I thought he was good, efficient, throwing the football. I think he's doing a good job. I think he's making really good strides. I think coming in as a rookie, any rookie quarterback, learning the system, getting the reps, I think he's taking advantage of a lot of it. Still things to grow and learn from, but he's been making great strides.
Similarly, AD, what do you think about the consistency he's shown the last few days, last week?
It's been great to see. We need that from him. We need that from everybody. That's one of my pillars is consistency, and we need to be consistent all the time. Not sometimes be the same guy every day and show up.
And I think to do it after the first week, where honestly, when he dropped the ball, a little too much there, what does that tell you?
Yeah, I think it's a mentality, a mindset, just bouncing back from that. You're going to hit adversity in the football season. You're going to hit adversity in training camp. And it's how you manage the situations and bounce back from that. So it's been really good to see.
In evaluating the quarterbacks, how do you weigh practices versus scrimmages versus games?
I think it all matters. It all counts. Every rep matters. Every walkthrough matters. Every meeting matters. It all matters. So everything's being evaluated.
It's not like games are way up here and practice.
Yeah, I think it's all encompassing. Obviously, the competition will probably pick up going against a different opponent on Tuesday against Baltimore, and then obviously the preseason games. Obviously, I think it's just human nature. It'll pick up a little bit, but these practices are huge too out here.
With the new defense, a couple more. Do you view important playing time for Lou's first unit?
No, some of those guys, you guys probably know the guys that probably won't play. There'll be some guys out there, but I think you get a lot of that stuff here in training camp. You get a lot of it in the joint practices with that one group.
Will Zaire maybe get out there more in the joint practice or not?
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, we're still working through that with Zaire.
Shane, how would you evaluate the team as you head into this joint practice with Baltimore? What do you hope to see on Tuesday from them?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a physical practice come Tuesday with Baltimore. Got a lot of respect for Coach Harbaugh and their team. They've had a lot of success. So it'll be a good, measuring stick for us and how training camp's been going. But I think overall, I think it's been really good to see the competition back and forth, offense, defense, the position battles that are going on. I'm very pleased with where our team's at right now.
How important is it just to have Zaire back in some capacity, just with kind of how young and fluctuating the rest of that linebacker group?
Yeah, I think it's big. Obviously, he's one of the leaders on our team and makes a ton of tackles for us. Obviously, wearing the green dot at that position, the communication piece, getting him back on the practice field, huge. He's taking all the walkthrough reps, which is good. So that communication, we get that in our walkthrough session in the afternoon with him. But to get him back on the field is big.
All right,
Thanks, guys.
Glad to be back.
How's it feel to just be out there doing a little bit?
Man, it's a blessing. I can't lie. I almost shed a tear yesterday when I first got on that field. I never missed that much time before. So just the journey that I've been through, God's grace and guidance, just working through. Shout out to the medical team here at Indy. They definitely took care of me all summer, pushing me, dealing with me every day. I'm a lot to deal with. So it felt great to be back out there with the guys.
You said that was your first surgery? Not ever.
My first surgery, and since I've been in the league, I had a couple shoulders, in college. But yeah, thankfully, 8 years no surgery, which is a blessing in and of itself. But definitely a different transition. They've been trying to get me to take an off day for 3 years, and I've been telling them hell no. So God scheduled some off days for me,
That's what it took.
Yeah, that's what it took. So, but now I'm back out. So
Next time they want you to take it off, they take it off.
we'll talk about it.
There's a lesson there, I think.
For sure.
When you're waiting to get back out there, were you confident it would come soon, or are you starting to have questions of when's this going to happen, or just kind of where were you at mentally with some of it?
Man, I've just watching so many guys throughout the years, when they get hurt. And, when you're on that rehab process, it's so easy to, get disconnected from the team, and kind of, really be, by yourself. That's when, a lot of that mental stuff starts to weigh on you. I just was very intentional, just making sure I was still locked in with the guys, whether that was at practice and meetings, in the building, just trying to still be very much present. And then, honestly, when it came to my rehab, it was a process. I didn't take anything personal. I gave myself grace. I committed to my journey and my plan, trusted the trainers that I had around me, and whether, it was a step back or a step forward, I took everything a day at a time. So
They told us that you have been dealing with this for a little while. What made you finally go through and say, okay, I probably need to go under the knife and get this thing going?
Man, so it was something that actually happened back in Minnesota, believe it or not. At the time, I mean, I'm not the only one, but if everybody on this team listed the list of things that's wrong with them, y'all would have a full day of articles. So I mean, it was just something at the time we just tape up and go through. It was something that's supposed to pretty much heal and get better over time. We got back for the spring, and I had already been training, already been working out, was doing some drills. Some things wasn't feeling right. Got a scan, and then it was just in the best interest for us to get it taken care of. That way we go into the season with a clean bill of health, because it was something that could be solved and wouldn't cause much other problems. So obviously it was a tough situation. I'm a guy that I want to do I want every rep. I want from OTAs to mini camp to I'm not the type of person that likes watching practice and stuff. So, but it was something that we had to take care of for the season moving forward.
So how limited are you? How much do you think they'll let you do in Baltimore?
Obviously, it's a day at a time. I got back out there today, 7 on. Introduced myself to Tyler. I told him I would sooner or later. A couple other guys I need to meet on the team too. Yeah, man, we just look day by day. I'm in my process. I'm just glad to be out there with my brothers.
Joe Hibachi, I guess, helped you throughout the process. He said he's been super close with you already and just going through the playbook. So how has that relationship developed?
Man, Joe's a cool dude, man. I like Joe, man. He's been extremely helpful. Obviously, he's played with Lou for 4 years. So as we continue to learn and grow through the playbook, there's lessons that he's went through or watched guys go through that he's able to help us and bridge us through. He's been extremely helpful. We got a great culture in our linebacker room. Even though a lot of those young guys haven't played a lot of actual snaps, the competition in there is fierce, but it's no backbiting. Everybody's helping each other, and it's raising the level of play of every single person in that room. So obviously Joe's been a big help, but just love the competition and the competitiveness of everybody in that room.
You talk some of the plays the secondary's been making while you've been out, just to have Ward and Bynum and guys like that. So what's your excitement just to kind of get back and play with those guys for the first time?
Oh man, I mean that was probably the hardest part of like the last 2 weeks is just, I watch our defense and, with Mooney, Cam, I mean obviously K-Mo out there, young Wiley, that D-line, I mean Latu heating up, Buck, Grove, I mean I was itching to get out there, not only just to be out there to compete with my guys, but, I just see my place in this thing. And, it feels good for me to be out there and so we can start getting that one band, one sound and get the hunting together.
So you talk injuries are part of this. How do you react when you see Ahmed go down and carted off like that?
Man, I love Salvon. I mean, I've known Salvon for about 9 years. I knew him back when he was at UW, back when I was training in Seattle as a young pup. Extremely tough. Praying for him, loving on him. I'm obviously shoot him a text. I know he's probably going through all kind of mental stuff right now. It's a tough situation. Young Trey, I mean, he's competing for a job, straight up, So he's out here trying to compete and trying to be better. And, we're warriors on that field. When we step on that field, we understand what the possibilities are. Obviously, we're a team, so we're not trying to hurt each other, but at the same time, we're competing. These guys are trying to feed their family, so it's a part of the game. But definitely a tough break for Salvon. Definitely praying for him.
Hey, real quick, Shane said that he talked to some of the leaders on the team because at that point you could end practice, but he said he thought it was important to finish, and you guys told him let's go ahead and let's get the work done. Were you part of that at all? Or did you have thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be extreme, but our defensive staff was in Cincinnati when they played Buffalo. Like they had to go play that. Well, they didn't play, but that's an extreme situation. But it's just certain things are part of the game, and it's like as sad as that stuff is, and we all hurting. We all love Salvon. Salvon's a great guy in the building. He's one of those guys when you see him, you just happy to see him, So like obviously we all feeling that emotionally, but at the end of the day, we got to win. We got to compete. We got to keep growing. We got to keep grinding. Like this team is on a process. There's guys out here that need those reps to compete and get better. Like we trying to be the best teams that we could be so we could win, and like we got to keep pushing ourselves. And as tough as the situation is, we needed that opportunity, and honestly, it was an opportunity for us to grow and push through that, and continue to be physical, continue to play the game that we love, the way it's supposed to be played.
That happens in the game.
Yeah.
They're not stopping it.
For sure.
Yeah. All right.
I would say, just the work that I put in the off season. I felt confident, going into my third year in the offense, and I would just say, just staying ready. Any opportunity that you get, you got to make the most of it, and that's what I want to do. I want to show, the coaches and the team that I can be a valuable member and help the offense in any way. So, I think that's been the biggest thing for me is just take advantage of the opportunities and keep making plays.
How much of it has been being healthy?
Being available is big time, and I think this off season I really honed into that of I got to do whatever I got to do to stay healthy, whether that's soft tissue or whatnot. So that's been obviously very helpful for me, and I want to continue being available. So it's been big.
Was last year frustrating? You had a really promising rookie year, got to play a lot, and make a lot of catches last year. Maybe not as much. Was last year tough?
I don't think it went the way that any of us wanted to end. And obviously I would love to play more, and but I think it's just it's this what I said. It's when you get your opportunity, you got to make the most of it, and sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. Whatever the team needs me to do, that's what I'm going to do. And last year just didn't happen that way, and this year, I want to change that. I want to make myself available and just make the opportunities. So.
Did you do anything differently to prepare for the season, body-wise or training-wise?
I train at the same place that I always do, and I think I just I think going into your third year in the offense, you feel very comfortable in the scheme and everything. And I think when you do that, then that gives you the ability to kind of start focusing on. Okay, you kind of add a little bit of your own, to it, a little bit of your own touch to, getting open to your routes and whatnot. So I think that has been the biggest thing for me. And then just being more confident in my ability in the run game. I just want to show the coaches that I can do whatever they ask me to.
This tight end group's seen a good bit of change. Kylan left free agency and Tyler is in there. Is this like a clean slate for you guys? Even though it's still Tom Manning, it's still Shane. How much of a clean slate is this for you guys?
The guys that we have in there are great, from Coach Tom to the veterans all the way down to the rookies with Tyler and Max. It's a great room, and I think we really, really get along together. It's obviously competitive, but I think we all genuinely want to get better, and we want to see each of us, do well. So we all push each other, and we encourage each other, but the room is great, and I absolutely love working with all of them.
We hear a lot about how just tight end is one of the more difficult transitions from college to the NFL. Just how much more ready and confident and comfortable do you feel now when you think back to your first camp or last year?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, going into my third year, you definitely feel more comfortable. And the tight end position is one that takes time to develop. For me, obviously, I'm not Mo. I'm not going to be his size. So in the run game, that's taken time for me, and I want to continue to improve on that and keep showing that like I said, I can do more than just receiving. So yeah, definitely third year in, you feel really confident, and the guys around us, we work well together. So we're all feeling really good for this year.
When Salvon went down, the entire team come over there to pray for him. Why was that important for you all to do it?
Yeah, I think this team does a great job of being together, and we're there for each and every one. So seeing one of our brothers go down, it's obviously very tough, and we just got nothing but thoughts and prayers for him, well wishes. So we're there for him in the ups and downs. That's for everybody. So seeing that obviously hurts, and we're there for him no matter what.
Will you have the Baltimore practice on Tuesday? How important are sessions like that to go against other competition, and what are you guys looking to get out of that on Tuesday ahead of the preseason game?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you do the 2 weeks or so of going against each other, you get a great competition, obviously, but then now you get to go play someone else, and we get to see how we match up, and it's a great opportunity for all of us to go out there and improve. Coach Shane had mentioned in the beginning of how we want to set that edge, for our team, and this is a great opportunity for us to go do that. So we're excited for the opportunity to go up there and play a good team. So we're just going to go up there, work our tail off and keep improving.
All right, thanks, Will.
Thank you, guys.
So you got a chance to hear from Shane Steichen, Will Mallory, and Zaire Franklin after practice now. Jake Arthur joins me of Locked On Colts and Colts on SI. All right, Jake, we were talking solid day. Nothing spectacular to write home about, but certainly not sloppy either. Feels like a good work day ahead of playing a team in a different uniform next week.
Yeah, it's about time. And these quarterbacks, especially Anthony, needed a bounce back after a pretty ugly day on Saturday. And he got it, 10 of 14, I think, today. Daniel Jones, 10 of 13. So both these quarterbacks are pretty good today. Getting a little momentum going into one of the NFL's elite teams, going into their play. So that was certainly good. Riley Leonard as well had the best day he's had since being a member of the Colts. Was nearly perfect on the day. The only incompletion was a drop. So the quarterbacks, the vibes are high going into Baltimore, we'll say.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Okay, defensively, it felt like the D-line was in the backfield more often than we have been seeing. I feel like they've been steadily kind of just behind the scenes stacking days as well. Obviously, we're going to talk about the quarterbacks and how they're doing and the confidence there, but the defensive line felt like they were in the backfield a good amount.
Very disruptive, yeah. I mean, you had a bunch of guys chipping in. Latu had a sack, DeForest Buckner, Gallimore had a couple, Kwity Paye. So Ebucom, everyone you want to see getting in the backfield, they were there. They were, harassing the quarterbacks. And it's interesting when the quarterbacks have a good day despite getting all these sacks. So I guess that's, best case scenario. You want to see the quarterback succeed and the defensive line do their job as well. So pretty good day from the defensive front. Like you mentioned, that's been getting hot. Latu's heating up big time. Zaire Franklin just mentioned that as well. So that's a guy that they are going to be very reliant on for that pass rush to be successful this year.
Yeah, Zaire Franklin back on the field dealing with injury. It was his ankle. Correct. Yeah, I was just making sure on that. Is his ankle? He's back on the field, so he hasn't missed that much time. He's getting a little lonely there on the sidelines. Wanting to get back in action, so we like seeing Zaire back out on the field. Okay, I want to ask you about the secondary. Travarius wore a little tightness. Yeah. We heard today from Shane Steichen, and then you add in Juju Brents, Jalen Jones. What have you thought about the secondary with some guys getting some more reps out here, maybe than they would otherwise?
Yeah, I mean those guys are getting valuable reps, which is good for them. I don't know how. When things start to matter, I don't know how good that's going to be for the team. You obviously want Charvarius Ward out there and Jalen Jones, Juju Brents whenever they get back. But Justin Wally has, I think, taken like every first-team rep throughout camp. Yeah. Samuel Womack is getting back into the groove after he had to fill in for Juju Brents last year. Kenny Moore, so there's some youth and inexperience there. We'll see. I mean, we see these guys take their lumps out here against some of the receivers, but they've also made plays too, including like Jonathan Edwards yesterday. Has made a couple nice plays. So these guys are getting valuable reps, and injuries happen throughout the NFL, so they're probably going to get called on at some time to step up, and so hopefully they don't really have to step up much until the regular season and the starters can get back out there.
No doubt about it. Depth matters in the National Football League. All right, the one kind of unfortunate moment of training camp day 9 on Sunday was Salvon Ahmed. Long run in an 11-on-11 team period, tackled from behind from Trey Washington. Just take us through your perspective. Very unfortunate. It had to be carted off, and seemed to be a pretty severe and significant injury for the young man.
No, just incredibly unfortunate. Wide range of emotions on that play too, because he breaks the outside run to the right, and you're like, all right, this is Ahmed's best play of camp so far. On his, onto the races into the end zone, about to get there, and then I think about the 5-yard line or so, Trey Washington, a UDFA who's just trying to make a play. Very unfortunate for him as well, with the hip drop tackle, and the exact reason that's banned in the NFL is what we just saw. Ahmed, his leg obviously did not look right. He was clearly in a lot of pain. The training staff got him taken care of, got him up on the stretcher, and carted him off. A good display of solidarity and camaraderie from the team is everybody came out and formed a big circle around him and started praying for him. So this team is showing its closeness and the fact they give a dang about each other, essentially. Because Ahmed is, your 4th or 5th running back, but they love each other all the same. They're very close. It doesn't matter whether you're the 90th guy on the roster or Anthony Richardson, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's a good display of solidarity, but best wishes for Ahmed and hope he can come back and regain his NFL career where it left off.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Stopped practice for a significant amount of time, and it just kind of took the air out of everyone's sails. And why wouldn't it? You want him to be okay. He's clearly not. Trey Washington obviously feels terrible about the situation, but even still, inexcusable for that to happen here in training camp. No doubt about it. So solid day for the Indianapolis Colts. Jake Arthur's going to be in Baltimore for this joint practice and preseason game number 1. Can't believe we're going to see some real football here. Very excited about that. So be sure to keep an eye on Locked On Colts. We'll certainly be having his content on WTHR as well as WTHR Plus. Jake, thank you as always. Safe travels to Baltimore. Absolutely. We'll see how this Colts team fares against a team in a different uniform going on week 3 of training camp ahead of the NFL season.